Hey, dying man on the floor. What's your issue? Ah, oof. You need therapy. Sounds like you lack a little bit of emotional intelligence. Not my problem. Sorry, it's too sensitive. Emotions are too high in this room. What the fuck is a righteous glory? If you've seen the channel name before, then you already know who I am. Alright, so I'm still a little sick, like recovering, you feel me? But we still move. We gotta move. We gotta get this content out. I've been thinking about this thing that we talk about, you know, where we call people empaths. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Sometimes I sit and think, like genuinely sit back and think, what is it to be empathetic and what is it to be compassionate? How much is too much and how much is too little? I try to look for this balance, or like not even really a balance, but like this middle ground where it's not too much but it's not too little, is just enough. And I struggle with that all the time because I'm a person of extremes. That's why I try and find a balance on when I'm talking and interacting with other people, especially people I hold close to me, like people that's dear to my heart. What it all boils down to is, how much should you feel bad for someone? Real quick, before we even like debunk and unpack that shit, can I just say that I fucking despise the word empath. I just feel like so many people find different terminologies and shit to cling to because they want to feel special in this generation. Like, bro, shut the fuck up.
I'm an empath, so I can feel, I'm sensitive to energy.
You're not a fucking superhero because you experience empathy. Like, everybody experiences empathy. People act like by claiming that they're an empath, they suddenly are a superhero and they have all the fucking capabilities and qualifications to take on the world's problems and police the world and decide what's right and what's wrong. Like, no, Rebecca, you're just a basic TikTok bitch. And when you're not scrolling through TikTok or Netflix, you're spending the weekends partying with your whole ass friends and taking different dicks. My point being, people call themselves empaths because they want to pride themselves. They want to say that, oh, I'm more emotionally intelligent than you, or I know how to do this more than you, I'm better than you in this way. But personally, I think that people that hyperfixate on empathy and therapy and all these other things, and you know how every minor inconvenience or solution to a problem is therapy or empathy, I think these people lack the most self-awareness. Like, they don't have any, which is why they need somebody to sit down in the chair and tell them what's wrong with them. Like, bitch, everything is wrong with you. I'm actually very sensitive to people's emotions and feelings, so I have to leave the room because I'm an empath. Like, no, motherfucker. No one likes dealing with that shit. Some people don't even like dealing with their own emotions. Would you think you special? Next time I see someone on the floor having a heart attack, I'm gonna do this shit. Hey, dying man on the floor. What's your issue? Ah, oof. You need therapy. Sounds like you lack a little bit of emotional intelligence. Not my problem. Sorry, it's too sensitive. Emotions are too high in this room. To clarify, I think the vast majority of people can feel empathy. I think the words narcissist and, like, you know, arrogant, like asshole, and all these other things are thrown out so loosely, but I think most people to some extent can feel empathy or some kind of compassion for another human being. But in order to do that, I don't think that you have to call yourself an empath. Going back to my original question, how bad should you feel for someone? I believe in personal accountability. If you fuck up and you make a mistake, that's cool, but you're responsible for it. No excuses. I hold myself to that standard and I hold others to that standard. However, I find myself in conflict with some people because most people don't believe in accountability. They believe in empathy. They believe in pitying other people and themselves for anything that they do wrong. I don't agree with that at all. And don't get me wrong, empathy and compassion is necessary. Being able to relate is necessary. Sometimes you gotta read the room in a situation. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to really help someone, you should be trying to help them help themselves. Not feel bad for them to the point where they don't want to do shit for themselves. I think the thing about the fisherman and fucking eating a fish or learning how to fish is facts. Like, I could be fed every day, or I could feed myself every day. If I could feed myself every day, at least I won't have to rely on you anytime I have an issue with not being fed. That's how I look at it. The cool thing about human beings is the fact that we can relate to each other. Even if we come from different backgrounds or overall just different people, we can always find some kind of common ground or something to relate on. And relatability usually comes from a level of compassion and empathy. But I think there's a point where you shouldn't be trying to blame the world or other people for how fucked up you are. Because let's be real, how does someone feeling bad for us actually help us? I had a gym teacher in high school named Miss H, and one time she said some real profound ass shit, cause like most of the time in that gym class, no one would do shit. People would just sit down, and we didn't have phones, so they just sit down, talk, whatever. And I would actually do the fucking workouts. I would jogging with her in class and shit, like all types of shit. I used to love doing that with Miss H. One day she came me with this profound ass quote from her mom where she said that her mom used to say all the time that sometimes you can't feel bad for people. Sometimes you can't be compassionate because sometimes when you're compassionate or when you feel bad for someone, you're not helping them, you're just enabling them. And I 100% agree. If you look at the people in the world that have stupid amounts of entitlement towards things that they don't deserve, you realize that they have that mindset and they look at things that way because people have always given in to their fucking crocodile tears and constant self-pity. There's a point where it becomes kind of cringy too. I think at this current moment, we live in a world where people really feel entitled to being understood and being heard. But they want that all the time, in every situation, in every circumstance. I want to be heard, my opinion matters, I'm important. And we all desire that deep down. I think so, at least. I mean, I know I do. That's why I started this channel. Shit. Like, that's why I fucking talk and speak my opinions and talk my shit on this channel. Like, that's why. Like, I wanted to be heard too. But even though you may desire it, I don't think you're necessarily entitled to it. Like, no one should owe you compassion. No one should owe you empathy. No one should owe you understanding. But the people that do give it to you, that's when you should really be grateful for them and appreciate them. I've seen it so many times where a person will, I mean, maybe they're going through some fucked up things in their lives and then they meet someone that's actually compassionate, that actually cares about them, that will hold it down for them, and they treat that person like shit. And when a person finally says, you know what, fuck this, I don't want to be a fucking doormat to you, and they leave, then they act like, oh, why does this always happen to me? How could this happen? Bitch, you ran the motherfucker off. You had a good person. You had a person that cared about you. Whenever you have people that care about you, you overlook them for the fucking person that doesn't. That's your fault. I've never been a person that wants to share parts of my life stories, because I do share a lot of my life stories. Sometimes I share a little more than I should, honestly. I share a lot of them, but it's never been the thing of like, feel bad for me, pity me, and look at me as if, you know, like I need sympathy or empathy. It's never been like a virtue signaling type of thing. Like, nah, I don't care for that. The people I've always admired is people that can take certain events in their lives, no matter how fucked up and bad they were, and can talk about how not only did they overcome it, but they made something out of it. They took what they had, no matter how unfavorable it was, and they made some shit out of it. That's what I respect, and that's what I try to do with this channel. Now, truthfully, after everything I just said, I don't have a conclusion for how bad you should feel someone. I don't know what a good medium is for, okay, this is compassionate enough, this is empathetic enough. But I do like the fact that I was able to talk myself like around and get my thoughts out, and I think that's also what people enjoy about my channel. But yeah, if we can take anything from this video, is that you're not a fucking empath, you're just a regular human being. Stop trying to be special. And more than that, it's like, we don't always need empathy and sympathy. We can sometimes just let people rock. I think that's why we have so many people that are so unhappy, because we always feel entitled to being understood when you're not. But hey, that's just how I look at it. How do you feel about this shit? What do you think about empathy? What do you think about feeling bad for people? Should we feel bad for people? Should we not? Let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Deuces.